Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Another best of 5, Wind and Rain. And well, we're having Wind and Rain going up against nothing left today. And our first map is Volskaya Foundry. So let's have a look at our first setup here. Nothing left, of course, pretty powerful, and so far also the favorite heading into the series. Wind and Rain, on the other hand, they are a little bit of the underdog here, and both of the teams are currently also playing with a sub. And as I look at this, I'm actually realizing the overlay is a little bit wrong. So it seems like the two teams have not actually looked at who's supposed to be on the left and who's supposed to be on the right. So we're going to fix that real quickly while they're starting with the bans here. But we have Abathur banned out, and we have Maiev now banned out as well. I mean, Volskaya is still a big map. I would expect that we're going to see Rexa at least somehow addressed in the series. I don't necessarily see him picked super early, even though nothing left could definitely take him here. But is it really worth of first picking him? The ban against Mephisto, on the other hand, is interesting to me. Now, I'm not certain if MXD or Halakut, if one of those is a Smurf of Macke. I kind of doubt it. So, unless that's a Smurf, why would you ban out Mephisto? Because that's more so a Macke thing than a meta thing or than a Wind of Rain thing. Macke loves to play those heroes, so that's definitely something. But yeah. So, we're having, with that, Garrosh picked as the first one. And let's have a little bit of a look at the setup here for Wind and Rain. But that's actually a question that is kind of interesting. As far as I know, they're playing with subs here, and again, that happens quite a bit. So MXD, there we have first of all Liming taking off already. Liming and Ana, I mean, you know what that's going to be. It's going to be a lot of potential resets with a nano boost coming through. Nothing left has to address that. And also, if you guys are wondering, we have Mopsio actually subbing in. DAB is currently not playing for Nothing Left, not today. And the account with the J213, that's actually Bleakidney. It's the account that Bleakidney has been using for most of the games in Division S recently, so that is not actually a sub player or anybody else. That is Bleakidney that's playing on that account. So here comes Linked, and there's Rexa. Podyboss gets Rexa again, so we're going to have Misha in the game. Second ban phase. Could definitely, from the perspective of Wind and Rain, now try and address the damage a little bit. Hanzo is still up and could be banned out, so that's the first one to consider here too. With the extra engage, I mean, you have a lot of stuns already. Hanzo can definitely benefit from that. Jaina also up, same as ZERATUL, by the way. So ZERATUL was not banned out in this one. So let's see. There comes the ban against Hanzo. What are they going to go for? I mean, you have still Jimmy. Jimmy can be picked. Would be solid. And yeah, Wind and Rain at the same time. What are they going to try and push? So first of all, they know, of course, the tank need the front line. You can still go Diablo. You have Johanna around. TYRAEL combo, if you're trying to play it a bit more aggressive, would be an option as well. And there we have it. Together with that, we're seeing Reyna. Backhold, obviously known for his TYRAEL play, for his Johanna plays too. Recently, a lot more focus into TYRAEL on the other hand. And yeah, with that, picks on the side of Nothing Left. Again, I'm waiting for the damage, and Jimmy getting now taken away as well. You can still play Junkrat if you want. Control the space even a little bit more. More displacement on top of Garrosh. Sylvanas. They played that a bit recently, and now they're doing it again. Thrall, the third one, so very likely going to be Crash Lightning. And that is going to be a fantastic talent if you get the stacks in. Not so much trash on this map. Volskaya Foundry, the second best map for that particular talent after Battlefield of Eternity. Wind and Rain with the last and final pick. If they want to play it super safe, they go into Blaze, but on the top lane, they can still ghost around with Leo. There's the Haka to be considered, even though we don't see him that much on this map. And Johanna! Johanna and TYRAEL again picked. Okay, didn't quite expect that, but fair enough. You have that wave clear too. Volskaya Foundry, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1. Wind and Rain going up against Nothing Left, so let's jump into the first map of the best of 5 series. Game number 1. Nothing Left, ladies and gentlemen, against Wind and Rain. Podyboss on the left side for the blue team. With Rexa, we have Bleakidney on Sylvanas, Linked on TYRANDE, Zadoon on Thrall, and Mopsio on Garrosh. On the right side of the map, in the meantime, we have Gunnar for Wind and Rain on Anna, Skog on Reyna, MXD on Johanna, Berghult on TYRAEL, and Halalgut on Li Ming. Have no idea how it's pronounced that way, but then again, I also don't care. So that evens it out. With that said, we're now having also our Unfurling Shadows again on level 1 for Sylvanas. Trash Lightning at this point is right there for Thrall on the level 1. And we're having, thankfully, Ace in the hole taken by Jimmy. I honestly have nightmares from yeah, the level 1 on the side of Reyna, because in the Chinese region, I'm currently casting quite a few of the Gold League games. We're seeing Exterminator being one of the priority talents on a ton of maps for Reyna, even outside of Battlefield of Eternity. And that goes also when he's comboed off with someone like Arthur's or Jaina, which pretty much guarantees you to have endless slows and endless extra damage, and it honestly gives me nightmares without end whenever I see that. So I'm always happy these days when I see Ace in the hole, even though for most of the European League it's obviously the standard talent to go for. It's one of those things where everybody is like thinking, what the hell is he talking about? But then again, the Chinese games usually happen very early in the day from a European perspective, even earlier if we're talking about North America. So most people don't have to witness that. And with that I mean the talent choices on Reyna. In generally speaking, there's actually some fantastic plays over there, especially of course with the former Chinese HGC players playing together with Korean players. We have Reset, for example, playing in there, and a couple of others, so it's quite a lot of fun to see the Koreans and the Chinese play together in Gold League, especially since it's now the later stage of the event. But with that said, back to Division S, back to Europe. Nothing left against Wind and Rain, and the battle for the first healing beacon has already started as the teams are setting up for the next objective. One hero that is a happy panda about this little brawl is actually Thrall. And Wind and Rain, they give them that fight, which means that Thrall is just sitting there and says like, stacks! So many stacks! It's like the Cookie Monster. Instead of cookie, 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 he's going stacks, 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 stacks. And also, Animal Husbandry. Look at that. We're actually seeing Potibos going again for Animal Husbandry here. I haven't really seen that talent in a while. When Rexa started to pop up, that talent was pretty much dominant for a lot of the Rexa players. They just really love to play the hero. And then more and more teams figured out how to deal with Rexa in general, and all of a sudden the talent started to more or less disappear. Hunter-Gatherer became super popular in its stead, but now we're having still this one committed to, which means that Potibos needs to be very, very careful how they are going to play this now on the bot lane. So communication is key. Someone is missing. You need to make sure that it's called out, or your Rexa player is going to die and going to lose the entire advantage that you get through Animal Husbandry. In case you didn't know how the talent works, you get hit points the longer you stay alive, and once you die, all of that is gone. A little bit of a literally do or die talent. So here comes again Thrall. So far only 5 stacks for him. They're going for MXD at the front now. Getting a couple of hits in. Thrall holds back. There's the channel again on the Chain Lightning, making sure that he gets the additional stacks in. This is one of the few maps where Thrall can actually complete that in a reasonable time frame. And yeah, so we're having, with that now set, 6 stacks for him, 12 on the side of Sylvanas, 7 stacks actually for Thrall. So he's going to get some Trash Lightning value right there. Another hit, but in this case doesn't connect on the second. And it's honestly an insane damage output if you complete it. It might take you a little bit of time, but it can be crazy. There's a bit of a wraparound here, by the way, in terms of roles, as Mopsio is currently subbing in for DAB. They're having Zadu now on the side lane, or on, well, not really the side lane, but we're having, since Potibos takes that over with Rexa, but they have him on another melee hero, but not as a main tank. And now the stacks keep coming. 8 stacks for him already. Connects the Wolf there too. Gets sucked in for a moment by the Condemn. Still with the turnaround here. Gets another one. 9. Linked is down, and that's the first kill in the game. And whew! Yeah, there comes another quick combo from Li Ming. Nearly with another kill secured. 56 against 20% right now. They need to wait for TYRANDE until she gets back. 28 stacks now for the Unfurling Shadow. So when you look at the damage output, Sylvanas is already all the way up there, together with Thrall, the two of them doing solid work. But the main damage in the hands of Reyna. Good old Jimmy. Missed the auto attack. Honestly, this is one of the epic things that Blizzard did. Can you guys remember when they changed the sound on that and it just sounded so much better and all of a sudden everybody wanted to play Reyna again? Good old times. Either way, now we're having 10 stacks for Thrall. Yeah, he is definitely benefiting from this. He's going to be a very happy panda. But for now, Wind and Rain, they are happy because they get the Protector. It's Protector time, baby. And you know what that means? On any coordinated level of play, top lane. You want to take the top lane out. You nibble a little bit at the wall in the middle, and then it's all about the top lane. In case that you're a little bit newer to Heroes of the Storm on a coordinated level of play and haven't really heard me say that, chances of that are pretty slim, since we're usually talking about this whenever Volskaya is played. The idea of Volskaya is always the same. You win a Protector, and you're trying to prepare the lane where the next Protector spawns. Look what he's doing here right now. First of all, they're taking down Jimmy in the backline. That's a bit of a problem. But the idea from this bad boy was to take this down, the fountain. So you want to move onto the lane where the next objective spawns. That's the second one spawns topside, the third one spawns at the bottom, and then the fourth in the middle again. And you always want to prepare the lane where the objective spawns next. And by prepare the lane, the idea is to take the fountain away, so that your opponent doesn't have a retreat point anymore, and in an ideal world to take the fort down as well. That gives you an advantage when you're fighting over objective number 2, and makes it easier for you to win it. And then you move down to the bottom of the map, do the same thing there, unless you already have such a significant lead that you see a chance to go for the keep itself. So they opened the wall, and they already put some damage onto the fountain, so they're going to try and drop that before the next fight starts, but usually you can easily accomplish that with the Protector. But we have level 10 now on both sides, and outside of those lane preparations, one of the things that are kind of important is that you make sure that you're also getting the items. So item advantages on this map are super important as well. We're currently already seeing with the level 10s here on both sides pretty much standard heroic abilities. Thrall obviously could have gone into Earthquake, but went into Sundering. He's going to look for those flanks later on. We're also having now Li Ming with a setup where she can, with a nano boost on the side of Ana, just rip through the opponent. Super, super safe. But yeah, there's the 40 stacks on Sylvanas, linked with a vision still. Backward is all the way at the bot lane. It's like, guys, I'm alone here. I'm so lonely. Lonely. Little TYRAEL gets a little bit of assistance as Li Ming comes in. Says like, okay, I got you, bro. But we are going to keep our eye on especially Thrall, because I want to see how much the Dune gets out in terms of damage later on in the game. Looking for another stack, and they actually steal that turret away. That's 2 turrets in their hands right now. Good, nice lead, good combo. Oh, that damage. But a decent Sundering as the Dune turns out again. Drops the Wolf to slow them down, but gets another stack also on his Chain Lightning. He's probably going to look for another one here, actually. Should have the cooldown back up. Yep, gets one more. Still trying to rush away. Nice play. Good job by Li Ming. That was actually really well done here by her, getting the Wave of Force out. I'm still not 100% certain if Halal Kurt is now the Smurf of Marke, or if that is actually a sub-player that they're playing with here. Kind of have to find out between games here, but for the time being, I'm not 100% certain on that. It's at least the same hero that they're playing here. And with the ban against Mephisto, I would assume that it's actually Marke and that Nothing Left knew that. Because if it isn't Marke's Smurf account, then the ban on Mephisto wouldn't really have made too much sense. Alright, so the push at the top lane, Fountain already about to... Well, Fountain is down and the fort is about to get dropped down too. As they're starting to push in against that. Control point topside is spawning again. 13 stacks by now for Thrall as he's back to try and get a few more together for the extra damage output here. 13 talents ready, and at least in this case Nothing Left is not falling behind in talents, because that's another thing that can happen on this map quite easily, that if you lose the first objective you also fall behind in experience around objective number 2. That means that you have to give your opponent a head start into it, like a massive head start, before you can fight them. So with that, we're now having also the push straight into the top again with 73 stacks for Sylvanas. 73 stacks on her, so starting to get some decent damage out too. Kidney enjoys the hero quite a bit lately. Still 13 stacks on Thrall. And yep, TYRAEL is still bot side. Pretty long actually. Oh, well, that's the reason why Wind and Rain is giving up the position. Another stack through. I'm more so looking these days towards Sylvanas. I mean, just look at the stacks that we're actually seeing here. 81 already. Isn't too bad 10 minutes into the game. In a normal game on a competitive level, you rarely are able to get insane numbers on Sylvanas, but that's a decent amount that we're currently seeing here for him. So with 81 stacks, they can get the damage out, and that's a lot of poke that you have with Thrall, so the two of them can work really well together here. Already wrapping around. Another Chain Lightning stack right there. Puts him to 15, halfway done with the quest. And looking solid. So yeah, 24,000 damage, 18,000 on Thrall, and now they're trying to make the play for the healing beacon even. 3 kills against 1. There's the silence for Sylvanas. They're moving in again. They're trying to get the stacks. In comes the Sun Ring. Plus the Hyperion is moving on through. And the Sanctification on the ground together with the first healing beacon. They're still trying to make the play here. Link is already low and isolated plus killed. Nicely done. Liming goes in, gets the kill, gets the reset. Gets a bit more damage out. He's obviously trying to murder this. So far not able to go for a second. Good taunt. And the kill against Jimmy. Jimmy down, but so is Misha. So is Thrall. Both of them eliminated. And that's still a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Wind and Rain as they start to take the lead in this game once more. Moving straight into the objective. 18 stacks now on Thrall. 111 for Sylvanas. So the damage output is definitely coming together for them. But they're losing the fights right now. It's 5 kills against 2. Now it's obviously important to still take a closer look at those, since later on in the game it can be the deciding factor over comeback or not comeback. But Wind and Rain winning a second objective would be great for them. And again, as we said before, they have now, with a potential advantage in talents, the chance to even go for the top keep. It's a little bit unlikely that they're going to make that commitment, but a move down to the bottom of the map should be a bit more realistic, where they prepare objective number 3 and ensure that they're having an easier time fighting for it. Even going now for that particular healing beacon, that's another asset, but Sylph is already moving down to the bottom of the map, and they're going to take this one down. And that is actually pretty cool for them as well. Because it doesn't really matter too much if Wind and Rain is able to get the fort at the bottom of the map and the fountain. They destroyed it too, which means that at best Wind and Rain can equalize the situation on the map in regards to objective number 3. And that's something they should definitely attempt to do. 16 is in their hands, but it will drop into the hands of Nothing Left in just a moment as well. There it is. Now we're having the rotation down to the bottom after the fort in the middle already got eliminated, and they're going to try and make the play right here. There's the kidney already sitting there, trying to get a couple more stacks together. Gets that easily. 116 already for him. Trying to get a little bit more after this. In comes the attack though. Backhold. Nice! That was a great move there. They take him down, and that's the end of TYRAEL. TYRAEL eliminated. More stacks coming in from Blakitny as he's sitting at 127, and he continues to stack that like a monster. And talking monsters, they're going for Reyna right now. He drops the Hyperion and actually escapes for a second. Blakitny goes in and says like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna take that kill. You might be able to take me down, but that's extra stacks for me and the kill on top of it too. I'll take that any day. So they drop Reyna, and even after Sylvanas falls, it's still an advantageous situation here for them. Nicely done. 20 stacks by now also for Zadoon's Thrall, so that means he's sitting at an easy 30,000 damage, 40,000 for Sylvanas. But still, you're on the other side with 35,000 on Liming and 42,000 for Jimmy. Not too bad either. But it's a pretty cool setup right now for Nothing Left, because let's face it, Sylvanas' damage is going to increase and increase and increase, and we are currently only 13 minutes into this game. And if it ends up in a crazy late game scenario, you know she is going to drop the pain later on. So yeah, this is pretty good right now. 136, and the way that he's playing and continuously stacking it, it's not too bad. And obviously Thrall is more or less at this point guaranteed to eventually complete Trash Lightning too. And once he does and the priority is on heroes, you are going to get the poke value. There's another close quarter fight. Mopsy is already sitting at the side there. He wants to go for the taunt. Hides. And he can make that play. If they commit to a fight here, he can make the play. There's another stack coming in. 22. Mopsy still in hiding. Playing around vision. Skok is trying to see. Backhold is moving in too. Sees him. Knows that he's there. And there's the penetrating round to make sure that Mopsy is not going to get too close. It's quite a bit of damage, but they are able to take the turret. And that was all this exercise was about. Get the turret. So with this, we're having still 8 stacks away from Thrall committing or completing his quest. Up to the top lane. There's obviously another wave that has to be taken care of. And Blakitny is definitely set up for that. and already takes that down pretty quickly. It's all about the next objective on the map. And to be fair, if they can hold on to that fountain, that would be amazing for nothing left. Like, seriously, if they are able to hold this despite the fact that they lost 2 objectives, that would be a dream. It is a bit unlikely with the poke that we're having from Wind and Rain. They're going to try and drop this thing. But still, if they can hold it, that would be amazing. Mopsio again for the throw, goes for the taunt. And the follow-up with the silence. Mopsio is a little bit low, but kept alive. Here comes the Sanctification on the ground. A lot of the heroics already used. The fountain is down, the fort's still standing, so at least there's a retreat point for them. But yeah, 22 stacks still on Thrall. Couldn't get any together in the last little skirmish that we had. They're starting to move in again. And there comes the move towards the top. Healing Beacon maybe again. Thrall obviously at this point also with an additional 3 stacks on the Thunderstorm. Trying to get the rest of that done too. Yeah, currently Misha on 5000 HP. Rexa himself sits on 5300 by the way, to give you a bit of an idea. Hasn't died yet if I'm not mistaken. Can double check that actually. Yeah, has not died, so he gets the full value of the animal husbandry at this point. Talking about full value, there's the item already claimed, and that's fantastic for Mopsio. Turret is on the ground, they used the double for this. But they still have the healing beacon, that's all that they need at this point, and the objective is now spawning. So yeah, again the rotation here, both of the teams looking for level 20 to fight for the next objective. And both of the teams will get that. Again, animal husbandry, 2 maximum health every second, so that means per minute you get 120. Can roughly calculate that through here. So he definitely has a decent hit point pool right now, more than 1,200 I'd say for that. Not quite Stitch's value when you're talking about hungry Stitches, but still pretty respectable. I mean, that is a decent hit point pool that he's rocking at this point. Yeah, so here comes again the 20, the Holy Arena, Talrashas. Nano Infusion. And with 20 on both sides, we're gonna have that fight in a second. 142 stacks by now for Sylvanas, 24 stacks for Thrall. And it's showtime, baby. Time to go for another item, time to go for the move at the bottom. Obviously the turrets are getting focused and we have still the item advantage for nothing left as they're starting to move in for this one. There we have it, trying to get the kill, and they get it quickly. Ana was there, and then she wasn't, quickly disappeared. Fantastic flank, and Ana is not really one to dart away from a fight. She just doesn't have the mobility, so that was an insta blow up as the flank connects. Zadoon gets another hit in and completes the Thunderstorm. But obviously right now we're talking about a disastrous situation for Wind and Rain after they initially had a lead in this game. Losing Ana in that little setup there was a problem. They were trying to get to the camp to help out in case it gets attacked, but instead they're losing their hero. Now without Ana on the board, they're just pushing in even further. There's no sustain, there's no healer, there's no support. It's a bit of an attempt to go for a kill. Misha goes down, that's 20 seconds. But still outside of that, tough going. Linked, if they can lock him down, that would be great. 156 and nearly 160 stacks right now. Again, the Sundering. And there we go. They go for the damage output again. This time Reyna is the target. The Sanctification's already on the ground. Mopsio's a little bit low. Mopsio. The taunt, and he actually falls. Mopsio is down, but the Protector is taken. 28 stacks for Thrall. We have currently Sylvanas in the Protector. Let's have a quick look at the damage output. Thrall is already breaking through the 50,000 mark and starting to close in on Sylvanas. But even with Garrosh gone, they can still make the play for at least the keep at the bottom of the map. 18 minutes in, 19 minutes in. Protector scaling, of course, into the late game. They have to be a bit careful here. But the idea is to at least get the keep at this point. And that they have to. They're waiting for the minion wave to come through. They have Misha with this as well. There's still a couple of tower shots, but it looks like the defense is going to be strong enough. It's a 5 versus 4 after all. Protector or no Protector. And that means that they basically get nothing out of this one. Ana might have fallen earlier and allowed for this to happen in the first place, but right now it seems like the defense is still strong enough. And guess what's falling in the meantime? It's the keep at the top lane. The catapults are locking this one down, despite the fact that they won the Protector. They're losing ground on the map. They're actually behind right now. They are actually behind at this point, and it is getting bananas here. Garrosh is sitting there and he's like, well, we just lost the fort or the keep top lane. We haven't really taken one ourselves. Yeah, it's a bit problematic. Talking hit point pools, by the way, Garrosh obviously works with the armor mechanic, but just to give you an idea, he's sitting at 4,700. HP. If we're looking over to TYRAEL, he's sitting at 5,700, and Jojo is sitting at 6,100. Then you're going over to Rexa, and you see that he is the most hit point heavy hero in this game, thanks to Animal Husbandry at this point. But then again, he also hasn't died, and the game continues, but that is going to continue for sure. Once again, the stun combo mobs you slow, but the Sundering comes in. Jimmy is dead, the Sanctification is on point, and they get the healing beacon too, but the fight isn't over, and MXD is in trouble, and with in trouble, I mean he's about to fall. Has the Indestructible still, and that procs through. Saved him for now, but that was an important kill here once more from the team in blue. Nothing left with a bit more momentum, and they're trying to use it to steal the items away. The next objective obviously spawning in the middle of the map. That's going to be super important here. And yeah, things are looking absolutely fantastic right now. Having the move down to the bottom of the map. Animal Husbandry, the bonus health at this point, as you can see there, 3,200. Pretty impactful. And here comes the attempt at a kill for the keep itself, and the keep is gonna fall, and that is at least equalizing the situation on the map itself. So that's not too bad. But at the top lane, they also have to deal with the double catapults. Again, we're talking 21 minutes into the game. Those things start to hurt. A lot, actually. It's amazing to me that Thrall has actually not completed his quest just yet. I mean, he's getting closer and closer, but we have very few long, drawn-out skirmishes where he can get too much. Thrall is finally also like dealing with the situation. There you can see how the shields are already suffering on the core with all of the catapults coming in. But yeah, 2,300 extra hit points now on Rexa as he is starting to knock on to the 7,000. Still one more stack for Thrall, and he's going to get the additional poke damage out. And yeah, Misha is currently sitting at 6,500 hit points, by the way, just to give you an idea. So the two of them alone have 13,000 hit points. Not too bad. Nice rotation towards the bottom. Taking the fort down means obviously you have more catapults spawn on that lane too. That helps because you lost your keep at the bot lane. So at least on every third you get a bit of a relief. You don't want to deal with Misha right now. Too many hit points to handle, for sure. Starting to go in here again as they are moving through the mid lane. I mean, from a structural point of view, nothing left is actually far behind if you think about it. They have lost all of their forts on the map. Yeah, there it is, the completion on the Trash Lightning. So that's going to be a huge priority now. So Thrall gets amazing damage out. At the same point, there's again the Sundering. Stacks are coming in from Sylvanas as well as they're going for it once more. Nice Sanctification on the ground here. They're trying to turn it in again. Keep in mind, those resets on Liming are absolutely deadly. There is enough damage out there for sure, but the heroic abilities have been committed to, especially the Hyperion here is over. 170 stacks by now on the side of Sylvanas, and those are really starting to absolutely bring the pain, and it's not going to get any better anytime soon. And right now we have the objective under the control of Nothing Left. It's of course a drawn out one. Once again, Wind and Rain is trying to look for the play here. There's no objectives, no items anymore on the map. They have to make that play eventually. Damage output at this point, 80,000 for Sylvanas, and it's continuing to grow. We have 75k on the side of Reyna. 83,000 on Liming as she's looking for the combos. Look at Sylphia sitting at the sidelines, trying to see if she can get some damage through. And Thrall is actually taking over the top spot in the team, thanks to his Trash Lightning completed, and that poke damage hurts. Again, they're sitting on the point here. Top healing beacon gets claimed, but we're also seeing the turrets taken at the same time. 6 kills against 7 in this first game of the series. The best of 5 continues as we're once again having Johanna in position. Nearly the blood against her. Sundering comes in, but already the trade activated. And thanks to the shield, they're able to get it. But here comes the Protector. They're trying to get for the kills too. And they're going to get the kill against TYRAEL. That's not the only one. Ana goes down. And with that double kill, they're looking fantastic here. They're going for more. And Sylvanas is ripping them a new one at this point. One hit after another coming in. Sylph is now sitting at nearly 200 stacks at this point. Insane damage from her, and they're starting to move down through the bottom of the map. The continuous poke on the side of Thrall and then Sylvanas with the extra damage. Halalkut is trying to get as much done as he can here. Johanna barely escaping, but now 25 minutes into the game, we're having the Protector moving straight for the objective for the core, trying to drop the shields as quickly as they can. Damage output on Sylph, top damage in the game at this point, or close to be, as we're seeing the backline play, and Liming is about to fall here. Nicely done, and that is game as we have Nothing Left taking the lead in the series. Game number 2, Battlefield of Eternity. A bit more of a brawly one that we have now. Nothing left, actually looking good in the first one. But at this point, we have right now Wind and Rain with an opportunity to come back into this. And they ban out Rexa immediately. Don't want to deal with those 14,000 HP again. Interestingly enough, we also have Make now back. So Make has actually not played in game number 1. So Halakurt is a different player, so is MXD, but Make arriving a little bit late to the series couldn't make it into game number 1, but now he's back to business to help his team out, and therefore we have an immediate ban on Mephisto again. Doesn't really matter what map it is, if you see Make on the other side, then you know that he likes to play Mephisto, he gets value out of that, so they ban that out. Rexa banned, Mephisto banned, definitely speccing into the personal preference picks that we see from those teams. So, for now, we're having still the ban pattern. I mean, you can still play around Maiev here on the map. There is Tyrande to be considered. Hanzo is a ban that we oftentimes see. And Nubrak is always a favorite to be picked early, to be banned out. The engage that he offers is fantastic. The fort dive that you have available to you, thanks to all of the beetles that are being summoned as well. So, on the side of nothing left right now, what do you ban here? I mean, you could ban Ana, you could ban Tyrande, more so for the objective than anything else. And I mean, there's a ton. Honestly, at this point, ZERATUL's open, Maiev is open, Ana's open, Tyrande's open, Hanzo's open. It's like, there's a plethora of heroes. We're just saying, like, okay, what do we really want to get rid of? They decide in favor of banning Tyrande. Her Hunter's Mark is fantastic for the Immortal race. You have the stun combos that come through this. But obviously, it allows Maiev to be taken now from the perspective of Wind and Rain and trying to combo something there. Nothing left, still could go into an early Hanzo pick if they wanted to. Instead, it's Li Ming and ZERATUL. We've been talking a lot about how strong ZERATUL actually is on Battlefield of Eternity. Not only because you get those resets, but also because you're in a position where you can continuously poke against the Immortal and your opponent just has to make the decision. Do you eat the damage with the hero, or do you let it through and then just nibble it away at the hit points of the Immortal when there are those stalemates in the middle? Now, Blakidney has played quite a bit of ZERATUL, so he's strong on this, but we have also seen Polyboss in the hero. So they could play with both on that. We have TYRAEL taken again, backward for the second time in a row now with the hero. Galne Gulnar on his Malfurion. So they have this setup around this. And I mean, they've shown already on the last map that they can definitely shift a little bit the rest of their lineup around TYRAEL and allow for even a second tank to be taken. Even though granted, that was from the player that has now been replaced by Make as he came back. Jimmy is banned out now with this too. Damage output, Jaina still available, but obviously likely to be banned out by Wind and Rain now. Actually, as I think about it, not really all that likely to be banned out, because, well, you have a mage already. Double mage is rare. Has been played a bit, but you're normally trying to not rely that heavily on double cooldowns. You want to have some sustainable damage that can either come through a third melee hero that you pick, or another range damage dealer. One of the heroes, for example, that is really not a big factor in Europe anymore, outside of Washed Up sometimes playing it, is Phoenix. Phoenix has played a lot in China, but hasn't really had a big impact in the European meta recently. Urel taken together with the Mopsios Diablo, so that definitely provides for beefy and strong frontline. And now from Wind and Rain. What are we gonna get here? We have Make and Halakurt still with heroes that they need. Halakurt likely to switch over into the offlane, I assume. Or Make. Make has actually, as HGC ended, tried out for other teams on the offlane. Tracer and Genji, alright. There's a double cancer right there. Yep. That was an interesting one. I guess Maiev at the beginning is gonna solo lane. Not gonna be too happy about that, I assume. I guess Genji is rotating in every now and then. Last pick on the other hand, there's Deckard Cain, the old man, linked favorite once again. So guys, we're jumping into game number 2, Battlefield of Eternity. Currently nothing left as the lead. Let's see if it stays that way. Game number 2, and nothing left is in the lead. On the left side, Polyboss on Urel, Mopsy on Diablo, Blakidney on his alternate account is playing ZERATUL in our second game. Zadoon on Li Ming. That guy is everywhere. Main tank, offlane, third melee, range damage, whatever his team needs, I suppose. Linked on Deckard Cain. And over on the right side, we're having Make on Tracer, Galne Gulnar on Malfurion, Backhold on TYRAEL, Skog on Maiev, and Halakurt on Genji. It is again the wombo combo that we're seeing on the side of nothing left, so they're going to try and play around the Void Prison into the Apocalypse. But we've seen in a previous series with Gone Next against Divine Vendetta how you can ruin all those aspirations and wombo combo kills with the simple sanctification if you time it perfectly. I mean, granted, it's not all that simple. You have to actually make a good play there, but still, Backhold is pretty good at his TYRAEL, so he is going to try and do exactly that, ruin the plays around the Void Prison Apocalypse setup with a sanctification. And if he can make that happen, that's all that you need to do there. So let's see if he can pull that off, or if they are going to fall on this one. I mean, as it stands, Linked is nearly going down over here. That was a big attack, and you have a very nimble lineup. It is Genji who's currently solo laning towards the top, so that allows him to make more plays with Maiev. But obviously the idea is to get those big kills. And Make is just zipping in and zipping out. Trying to do some work there. Yeah, top side. That's where we're currently seeing Podeboss doing this job against Genji. I mean, this is generally a lane that obviously ZERATUL is gonna win. Now, it's not really a fantastic solo lane that we have on Wind and Rain, no matter who they set top side. Nobody's really in a position where they can do well here. We have TYRAEL, who can hold his own for sure, but you need him at the bot lane because he's the main tank and not just a side laner for them. But this is the map where the side lane arguably matters the least, in the sense that most of the focus is on the big team fights and on the objective. Now, you can't completely disregard it, obviously. You still need the experience there. You need to make sure that you at least can push that out to an extent. But this is a map where the lineup that we are seeing from Wind and Rain can definitely work out if they're doing well in the fights themselves. And that's what they're going to try and do here. Now, when it comes to the setup at the top side, we're actually seeing a 2 versus 2 at this point. As we already highlighted a little bit during the draft, that is a possibility in this setup. So once more, 44 starting to move in here. Halal good. A little bit low. And down to the bottom of the map, Make just still rushing around. Now keep in mind, Tracer in general is fantastic with Malfurion, so that was a combo for the longest time that when you've seen a Malf picked early on, that Tracer was oftentimes picked that a ban that followed shortly after. And Malfurion was so fantastic in empowering heroes for the longest time that he was just more or less a secure person. But another aspect to this entire setup is that you have actually with TYRAEL another hero that can really help Tracer out, just simply because of the shield and also through all the benefits that he provides in team fights with movement speed and whatnot. Sanctification obviously if needed to. But yeah, that shield that you get from that in addition to that heal over time is pretty fantastic. And they're making the play for Mopsio, already pushing that out and getting tethered back in. But there's the seal, and that's actually a pretty big deal here from Link. Dropping Backhold nearly, and in the meantime, Blake Kitten is just AFKing at the Immortal and is starting to get the damage in. And Wind and Rain will have to face that situation at some point. Starting to go for a bit of counter pressure here themselves right now. They don't really have a lot of heroes that are fantastic on the They obviously have heroes that do damage, but it's not like they're running Greymane or anything that gets extra value out of this, like an arrow build Vala or, I don't know, Hanzo, you name it. Instead, we're having them with a lineup that is definitely eager to fight and wants to see if they can get some kills in. Obviously, they're going to go for the Immortal if they have to, but they are definitely happy to also take the battles when they present themselves. And that's exactly what we're currently seeing here. The teams are looking for level 7. Skog is low and is still surviving. Talking survivor. ZERATUL gets out Make with 200 hit points, escaping too. What a close call there. Swift strike as Genji saves his ass. And yeah, that is an interesting start into the game. A lot of brawls and very few kills that we are seeing here. I mean, just look at the kill count. It's literally 0 at this point. Not a single hero has fallen, but they have been brawling for a long time right now. Make again with the damage. Halftime show is nearly won by Wind and Rain, and they're taking it. Halftime show by them. ZERATUL is still at the top lane and is getting the siege damage value right there. As the rotation comes in, the level 7 talents give them the early lead that they could now use. Ooh, nice engaging against Malfurion, but can't get the counter kill. There's a slow, but it's not enough damage. As the dude is trying to get the combo out, but it was a bit too late, trying to flank already, but Make is sitting there protecting the side. They're protecting the still. And again, Mopsio in a great spot, and the Vault of the Warden saves Maiev for a moment, but she falls to Diablo regardless. Mopsio on the other hand, he's a bit low, but still gets saved and nearly turns it around against Genji as he dives in a little bit too much. Marke dodges the shield, and in the meantime, we have again Glikidne do his thing here. Now they are of course to an extent reliant on the wombo combo, and they know that for now they can only mitigate the damage that is being done here. The Immortal is still won by the red team. Wind and Rain takes the first one. But as long as you do well until level 10 and don't fall too far behind, you're going to be in a spot that they will probably be quite happy with. So that's what we're currently seeing right there. Having again backhold at the top side. Still the rotation coming in from everyone else on the side of nothing left, with the exception of ZERATUL, who's currently still lollygagging around at the bottom. His cleave build is going to get stronger and stronger. He's going to scale into the late game. But for now, Glikidne is holding that solo lane, in this case against Genji. Two of them actually battling it out already, as you can see. One of them might even fall in that little skirmish. Top side, wall has fallen. Immortal is still looking pretty powerful. They're trying to go for it. There's the lockdown attempt though, and Maiev gets caught in it, but a little bit too far out. And there, another moment where Diablo creates a little bit of space. They lose the bounce, but they hold on to the fort at least for now, but probably not much longer. Again, the attempt at a kill doesn't work out just yet. Mopsio wants it, doesn't get it, as TYRAEL jumps away once more. ZERATUL is now in too, but he's not going to get too much either. Tries to go in, misses the singularity spike, has to jump away. Went for a quick cleave here, but it's still 1 kill against 0, and that's all that we've seen here so far. Maiev, the only one who has died in this game. And it's a half-level lead. With the fort not falling, that means no catapult pressure topside through those third waves. But it will be taken soon. But again, the longer you can actually push it out, the better. Your opponent doesn't get the increased passive experience. You don't have to deal with those catapults. But obviously, with them already sharking around, they are going to take that. It's like, at the same time, the level 10s are now going to be an issue. And those are dropping a little bit faster for the team in blue for sure. And then we're talking combo. Then we're talking Apocalypse into, or well, Void Prison into Apocalypse. And of course the follower damage. On top of that, you have also the seal from Deck Arcane. So it's like there's a lot of CC that really hinges on a good setup. And Glikidne is no slouch on ZERATUL. Him and Podibos have both played some incredible games for their team on that hero. And here comes the level 10. Giving us a stay a while and get wrecked on the side of Deck Arcane. Gives us the Void Prison. So far, Dibbles hasn't even made a choice. I would expect the Apocalypse to be taken. And again, he feels like lightning breath. Let's go for it, bro. Then Deck Arcane will have to follow up on those VPs. But there comes the Apocalypse, and they are going to try and get that in close quarter fights if they can dictate it somehow. Oh, there's again. Team on the move. Level 10 on both sides now. Camp's already taken. Twilight Dream, Containment Disc. They're already going in for the tether down here at the bottom. At the same time, up to the top. Backhold gets wrecked. Locked down and destroyed. Murdered. Eliminated. Decimated. And other shit. And yeah, that is giving them a really... I mean, that should be a halftime show. That should honestly be the halftime show right there. After they dismembered TYRAEL, they are now taking apart that Immortal. Easy peasy 50% there, 2 kills against 0. And they're starting to gain a bit more momentum. If they can actually burn it down on the left side, it would be great. But first of all, we have ZERATUL trying to deal with the camp there. There's a catapult that has already moved into lane 2. So Dune is helping out with a quick combo, quick slashes there. And that should be that. The defense is ready on the side of Wind and Rain. But again, here comes the move. Tracer is on the right side, trying to get some damage in. This is basically just the attempt to make the Immortal laugh. That's how Tracer does damage against that big boy. Halal Kurt low, and they're trying to go for the backline again. Zadun, there's the X-Strike, and the VP Sanctification already in the making. Oh, stay a while and get wrecked, baby. There's the Sanctification, finally. The fight's still going up. Mopsio is low, but pushes himself out, going for Skork, and Maiev falls. They're trying to get more kills, and the lockdown against Malfurion was fantastic. TYRAEL jumps in, hooves to the face, down goes Malfurion as the GOAT goes for the kill. ZERATUL delivers the final blow against Malfurion, and Genji gets the triple here, 5 kills against 0, and we get the Immortal taken by them with massive shields at this point. I mean, massive shields for them, starting to move down to the bottom of the map right now, and the fort is already a foregone conclusion. The only question that remains is, how much more can you get? ZERATUL is up at the top, and she is going to push it out, trying to pressure the second fort too. But this down here is definitely a massive problem now for Wind and Rain. 100% shields, the pressure is there. 4 heroes for the defense, 5th one coming in too. ZERATUL now with a rotation down to the bottom of the map to make this an even fight, but we have level 13 talents in their hands, and that's of course an advantage right there. Once again, the wall's done their play, and they go for Genji protected and still getting wrecked. 29 HP as he went for the deflect, and then all of a sudden he gets still locked down. The wall of Waltons keeps Maiev alive for just a second, but now the fort is gone, and with 13 and a 2-level lead, 6 kills against 0, they're going for the bottom fort, for the bottom keep here, trying to break through the wall here. Once again, tower down, first one, wall also falling, everything open. Apocalypse ready, Void Prison ready, Li Ming ready, wants the reset, looks for the reset. ZERATUL needs the combo, needs it now, looks for the DP the entire time here. Does he find it there? The slow is again the tether in, playing it really safe and slow around it. They're not going for it just yet, but they have the opportunity. It's a 4-man! It's a 4-man Blink Kidney! And they get the stun against 2. The follow-up with Deckard, but the Sanctification is out and the Containment Disc. Make sure that they don't get the reset, and instead it's actually Li Ming that falls. The keep is safe. Holy macaroni. You get a 4-man Void Prison into the APOC, and then they don't get a single kill, but instead they lose Li Ming. They get the counter kill though. Once more, ZERATUL with the play here as Genji dies, but again it's Dibbles who falls shortly after. The fight not over yet by a long shot on the other hand. Stay a while and get wrecked! No, yes, ZERATUL gets out. Deckard Kane is dead. ZERATUL gets moon-fired into the ground here as Boss gets body blocked. And that's the end of ZERATUL. Parting gift, baby. Bombs to the face. And now with 5 kills taken in that last engagement, we're all of a sudden seeing Wind and Rain back to business with a level 13 talent in their hands. Down to the bottom of the map, well, the keep still in play. Nobody took that down. Still a level ahead, of course. Up to the top, Diablo is now taking care of the situation, which also allows him, obviously, to get a few additional stacks back because he just died and lost all his souls. The bomb against the structure, Macke fully aware that he is going to have that back for the next fight, no matter what. But yeah, nicely done here. Good fight back, and now they're obviously looking to get a bit more here. Problem for Wind and Rain is the lead in experience that Nothing Left still holds on to, since this is very, very likely going to end up with a level 16 talent during the next objective, which is just now popping up on the horizon. So that means that they have another massive, massive advantage now. Tracer, 39,000 damage, literally the only hero in the game that hasn't died yet. Macke once again with the place. And yep, there we have them once more. Pushing in, waiting for the 16, trying to look for the advantage, trying to go for the play. Slows are in, 16 is into Void Slash, baby! TYRAEL is down, and that was a quick kill. And a reset, of course, for Li Ming too. Still, we have the Void Prison potentially, and there it is. Where's the APOC? There's the APOC. Where's the seal? There's the seal. They go for 1, they try to get 2, but at least the kill against my... Wait, what? Okay. That was a quick one. Nice combo, and they got nothing. Absolutely nothing. One jumped out immediately, the other one vaulted away, and all of a sudden it's just like, yep, screw you. Use your cooldowns as much as you want, you're not gonna get a kill here. Nice escape by Maiev. Well done. Still halftime show 1 on the Immortal, and they're obviously going to try and get the full 100% while they still have the level 16 advantage. Starting to jump in with this. And down to the bottom of the map, they're trying to get some experience, but let's face it, they're not going to get level 16 anytime soon. There's a defense over there to the right. Actually, I'm kind of drunk. Halftime show has been won by Wind and Rain. What the hell? ZERATUL looking for the kill once more, and the Twilight Dream! ZERATUL is down! There comes a strike to the face, so yeah, all of a sudden Wind and Rain is actually carrying the momentum here. I could have sworn the halftime show was there for nothing left, but no, instead they have to play defense, and you can tell how this is going. Diablo is down and so is ZERATUL, and all of a sudden it looks like Wind and Rain is going to take this one. Stay a while and listen, baby. But that is going to be 100% shield on the Immortal nearly for Wind and Rain. Nicely done. Pretty well done here. That is actually quite something. I mean, dodging the combo earlier was great, but they got now 2 more kills in the last engage. Pretty impressive. And again, this game could have been so much different if at the bottom of the map the keep would have been taken down a little bit earlier here. 9 kills against 7 now, still the lead in that, but is there any doubt that they're going to get value from this Immortal? If they have to defend top lane against the 5-man, then the Immortal down here is going to get sick value. Obviously, it's going to break through the keep, but it's likely also going to attack the fort, but it's likely going to get the keep a little bit. The thing is, they are just now rotating down bot side, but that gives a bit of a time window to get some damage in. Let's see if that's not going to backfire. Skog is going to try for the Umbral Bind. Find that though. But yeah, with that said, I mean, we have them going into the keep right now, but honestly, I could kind of see them defend against us, not even lose the keep if they play this right. There's again the stay a while and listen, just trying to zone them out a little bit. They're trying to go for Maka, but can't get him. And Blikidney in, out, jumps away, gets the fountain, and stays alive for the time being. They go for the keep, and the keep, I mean, this Immortal is just absolutely murdering that thing. I mean, honestly, the damage on that thing is insane. Maka finally down, Urel jumps straight on the Tracer, and says like, screw you. There's no apocalypse. Diablo was actually caught in the VP, so couldn't follow it up. They're trying to go for Zadoon, who barely jumps out, but again the pressure play, and Portiboss is just jumping. Portiboss is just doing Urel things. Jump, baby, jump the entire time. Hooves to the face, and one jump after another, and they get the second kill after they took Tracer down. It's Maiev that falls next. 2 kills, 11 against 7 now, and they still hold on to the keep. Looks familiar? Yeah, I kind of know why. So both of them low, but at this point, nothing left. Just says, boys, we are done with this shit. Mobsteel says, guys, I'm totally done with this crap. Let's just go for it and take that keep down. And they do. Catapults are going to be spawning at this point. Everybody else is just currently falling back here. But that gives once again the lead to nothing left. Great game there. Back and forth the entire time. Moving in for this. Damage output, 58,000 by Maka. First time that he died there. With 41k for Liming, 39,000 for ZERATUL, 20s, still a little bit away. But honestly, a realistic thing to get during the next objective. Let's not forget about that. You're roughly a level away, half a minute until it pops, so you're going to get roughly level 19. If you can drag it out slightly, then you have a chance to get 20 towards the second half of the objective. It's definitely there. So this is going to be interesting to see how the teams are going to approach this, especially from a perspective of nothing left. Are they giving up the halftime just so they get the experience? Are they willing to fight a 16 versus 16 talent fight? And at the bot lane, with that pressure, I mean, once that catapults or anything is going to escort it a little bit farther towards the keep, you have to deal with that too. Defense being played here right now. Passive experience advantage obviously goes straight to... Oh, well, they're going in for the play against Tracer. Tracer gets away, and Portiboss jumping back in. Oh, the APOC together with the Void Prism, but they still get the kill against TYRAEL. They get the kill against TYRAEL. Can they get more, though? And it's just Portiboss jumping in the entire time. The GOAT is absolutely on fire right now. Mopsio with a big boy kill. Goes in, gets the wall stun, stuns them straight into the wall. Maka is now on the run, but with two heroes already dead, this is looking fantastic. Zadoon trying to collect the shots there and get them in against Maka, but it doesn't work out for him. Maka dodges everything at this point. 20 is absolutely close. They're starting to make the play here. Once again, Portiboss a little bit low, but they're going for the quick race against the Immortal right now. The level 20 is already in their hands as well. Storm Talons are coming through at this point. That gives us TYRAEL. It gives us obviously also the bottomless flask on the side of Deckard Cain. To the right side, the desperate attempt by Wind and Rain to just take a few of these hit points off the shield, and it's nearly an even trade. They're waiting for TYRAEL. He's back in 2 seconds. They're waiting for Maiev. Another 10. Mopsio goes in again. He looks for the kill. He looks for the wall stun, but the rest of the team is already working on the Immortal HP. They want to have the big bad boy there. And again, Mopsio jumping away. The kill goes straight into the Immortal stun, and Tracer says thank you and drops him quickly. The Immortals still not taken, and all of a sudden we're talking about a different game. Storm Talons are there, but still, their souls have been reset. Diablo is a lot weaker at this point. They're going to the fountain, they're immediately moving in, trying to make sure that they have an opportunity to tap off the mana pool, tap off the HP, and then go back in. Fight before level 20. 2 seconds for the VP. APOC is ready. That's the moment. That's the opportunity. Blake Kidney looks for it. The slash against Macke. Again, those Psy Blades just completely obliterating the haircut of Tracer and this little endeavor. Once again, the opportunity for VP not used yet. Nice seal again, and the lockdown against Bakkult, who dies once more. The interrupt against the Sanctification, but the counter kill against ZERATUL. Mopsio in trouble, and Mopsio goes down. And this time for the count, they get the disc against Liming, and that is going to be the end of Zadoon. Zadoon is down, only 3,000 HP left on the Immortal on the other side. Top lane is pushing too. Keep has fallen here in the meantime, and it is a disaster. Wind and Rain with all the power that they need right now. They're going for the Immortal again, and it looks like this time they're going to get it again. They have only 3,000 on the shield, but who gives a shit? At this point, the Immortal is pretty much guaranteed to murder that Keep down at the bot lane, and with 3 heroes down for another 30 seconds, we're seeing Wind and Rain not even waste a moment on that Immortal. They're still saying, okay, let that bad boy push. We're already going for the end right here. We have 4 on the map. TYRAEL is not here yet for the Sanctification, but screw it, we can still get the kill. We have Maiev, we can get the tether. They're making the play for Podipos. They're about to drop him here. He gets the shield in, but there comes once more the disc, contains him quickly. Ling trying to make the play. ZERATUL is back to business. Ling with a quick slow against them, and once more they're trying to get these kills in. They have to retreat actually, and they're low. ZERATUL wants to, of course, make a play there, but now the Immortal has broken through the bot lane. They're still trying to defend. The shields are nearly gone, and they're burning it down as quickly as they can. TYRAEL is now moving in, and once that he has the Sanctification ready, they can just go for the core and right-click that baby. But at this point, 60% on the core. Once again, ZERATUL with a play attempt to get the first kill. Maiev is already down. VP is being used. They get the VP in. 70 points on the core. Immortal has to fall. Immortal has to die. They're killing Malfurion, but the core goes down as Wind and Rain ties the best of 5. Alright, game number 3. Well, we're heading into our 3rd game right now. Wind and Rain against nothing left, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty cool series. Really good one for now. And yeah, a lot of back and forth there. Not only on map number 1, but then you're looking at map number 2. And I mean, it was just simply a swing to the left, right the entire time. Just a change of pace and momentum through every single team fight, pretty much. So... yeah, we have an opportunity right now for either one of the teams to set themselves a little bit ahead and maybe gain enough momentum to take the 4th map of the series too. Nothing left with the ban against Mephisto again. They just don't want to deal with that. Wind and Rain on the other side. I honestly wonder more so if Nothing Left is going to ban Tracer. Can still be played on Infernal Shrines, has been a little bit in the past. And yeah. Then we have the Rexa ban against Podipos. After game 1 and those 13,000 hit points on the 2 combined, they're just like, okay, screw Rexa. We don't want that guy anymore. We don't deal with that. But yeah, there is obviously still Maiev to be considered. There's ZERATUL to be considered. You have to think about Anubarak again. Ana is another one to really think about too. And there is a lot with that happening. So... yeah. We'll see. But for now, Ana gets banned out. Okay, that's a priority here. Now the main question is if Wind and Rain is going to ban Maiev. Because I'm honestly actually pretty certain that Nothing Left wouldn't mind playing Maiev. They played a lot of Maiev. Blake Kidney plays the hero a lot. So... honestly, if I was Wind and Rain, I would probably just say, screw it, let's ban her. Then you leave, of course, ZERATUL open. But I mean, then you have to do one thing. Oh, Sylvanas. I mean, yeah, Blake Kidney plays a lot, as we've seen before. Maiev open with this, and the insta-pick. Blake Kidney says, well, you ban out my Sylvanas, I'm gonna pick immediately Maiev. I think instead we could have seen ZERATUL, for example, which wasn't quite the case here now. But, yeah. I would never give Blikitny Maiev. It's a pretty bold statement to say, hey, we're gonna deal with this. And whew, Alex gets taken. This is like the first time in Europe that we have Alex with such a priority on Infernal Shrines. That's more of a Chinese meta move that we're seeing from them right now. So ALEXSTRASZA gets picked here with a very high priority. It is her best map, Infernal Shrines, but again, I've been talking for weeks actually about how Europe pretty much disregards her, whereas China has massive priorities on the hero. And she was really big, especially in HGC North America, for example. Oftentimes in conjunction even with Odin, because you can pop the cooldowns on Odin and on the Dragon Queen from ALEXSTRASZA and really get a lot of control over the way that the shrine fights span out. But in Europe, she never really had the same priority, even though in HGC, at least for a while, she was a bit more of a higher priority pick. But especially now in the meta, she is very much disregarded by most teams in Division R. So that's a cool one. TYRANDE gets picked, and with that together, we have also ZERATUL for the side lane. They're at least denying DIABLO and saying like, nah, not so much. And with that said, last ban in the game here. Nothing left. What are they going to get rid of? It's Leo. Leo gets taken out. Are we going to see that Garrosh for nothing left? And Uberak has to be a little bit more careful if a Garrosh is on the other side, because you can't just dive so far in and then you get thrown. But we also need damage. We need something for Mukke. And I don't think that they're going to go Tracer with this one. Li Ming usually finds not quite the same value on this map, so it's more about Jaina. ZERATUL Jaina. There we have it. ALEXSTRASZA, ZERATUL, Jaina, and Nubarak with that mix as well. Okay. In comes our last double pick for nothing left. What is the main tank? I haven't even mentioned ETC, by the way. It's something that I could have seen on Battlefield of Eternity. Now, ETC might be an option here too. Power slide into TYRANDE stun is pretty decent as well, and with UL you can play him. But TYRAEL works well for me too. Zdun on Reyna, TYRAEL played by Mopsio. And on the other side, what are we going to get now? We have the last pick for Wind and Rain. Very likely to be an off-laner. Could play around Blaze here for even more sustain if you need a little bit more damage. I mean, you could play Thrall if you wanted. It's not quite as hit point heavy at the front. You have to be more decisive about the commitment there. But obviously there is a plethora of offlaners still to be taken for them. And it is Greymane. Fair enough. Full on action, full on aggression. Game number 3, ladies and gentlemen, Infernal Shrines. Game number 3, nothing left against Wind and Rain. And we are good to go, ladies and gentlemen, on Infernal Shrines with an aggressive setup here. On the left side, Poryboss on Urel, Mopsio on TYRAEL, Zdun on Jimmy. We have linked on TYRANDE, and Blikitny is playing Maiev in game number 3. Mukke on the right side is playing Greymane. Galnagulna on ALEXSTRASZA. We have Skog on Jaina, Halal Gut on ZERATUL, and MXD is playing a Nubarak. Alright, with that setup now, super aggressive on the side of Wind and Rain at this point. And yeah, let's have a bit of a look at what we're seeing in those team fights. We're currently seeing the Light of Karabor on level 1. It's one variation of Urel that we see lately a little bit more often. You get the synergy with the later talents as well. And that can be pretty powerful, actually. But I'm more so interested in how much aggression we're going to get out of this. And actually, now that I'm seeing that in action, that puts another one into perspective, of course, too. Mukke already dancing around the Greymane. But as you can see, with them going for the wall here like they did, they can use an Uberak to just simply dive quickly into these situations, spawn a couple of beetles, which soak up the tower shots, and then put Greymane into a position where he can get the damage in. So it's actually a pretty sweet setup if you are trying to go for that value against objective. And it's hyper aggressive, as you can see here. I mean, Poryboss survives. They might even get a kill against Mukke now, but as you can see, this setup, generally speaking, is insane. Now Nubarak goes down, but that Wind and Rain didn't get a kill is basically only because Poryboss played this quite well and the team rotated incredibly fast. So hyper aggressive setup on the side of Wind of Rain. Really, really strong. But Mopsio is now going for the brutal invade down at the bottom. Poryboss was already trying to intercept Skog. Oh my god, if any of these abilities would have hit, that would have been likely the end of Jaina in this case. So yeah, right now, once again, we're having the setup right here at the bot lane. Well, I mean, look at the experience, by the way. half a level ahead already. But yeah, we have the setup at the bot lane with Skok just simply holding the experience. Rest of the team is rotating around. We're currently having, in this case, the 4-man of nothing left committing to camps. They're obviously going to try and find strength in numbers here, since they're very well aware that it is a very aggressive setup from Wind and Rain. Podibos is playing this also a little bit safe at the top lane when he doesn't have any vision. Right now he's well aware that we have heroes here in the middle. But Maiev is in trouble, and Maiev might actually die here. Yeah, there comes the kill, and that is the end of Maiev, using the shadow just a little bit too early. Was that. So now at the bottom of the map, we're now having Zadoon and Linked in position to try and take that down again. Trying to make the play right there with another camp. Camp after camp being taken. And this is literally all camps so far, all the Khaldor camps that have been taken by them. One invaded, then their own, and now the one at the bottom. So they got 3 in total. At the same time, we're having now top lane to have our setup again against Podi, and the wall is getting attacked right away. And the more you take that down, if you win that objective, you're in a great spot. The problem is that they're about to fall. The owl. Hogwarts. Hogwarts calls as Hadwig's comes to visit and delivers a little letter there. Down goes ZERATUL, deleted by the owl, and Greymane has fallen too. They're trying to play. I mean, it's a high risk, high reward strategy that Wind and Rain executes. And if it works out, you look like a fucking champ. But at this point, they're obviously getting a little bit murdered in that setup. And if that trend continues, then it is going to be a pretty brutal awakening from them later on. So let's see what we're gonna have as this continues. Because right now, Wind and Rain basically decides top lane ain't happening. So instead, what can we do? We can actually still try and make a little bit of play around the structures and put Greymane into a position where he can... Look at this. This is exactly what I talked about earlier. Dive in, spawn the beetles, get the minions in, and then it's all about Greymane. Greymane trying to get those hits in, and they drop structures. The problem is they're also losing out on quite a bit of HP at this point on the heroes themselves. And if those die, then it's a different story. So you look at the builds, and the builds pretty much reflect also the aggression that I was talking about. You have, again, the Underking taken, and considering that Anubarak is pretty much the only hero that can semi-tank here, you know that that is an issue. So they just want to be aggressive, aggressive, aggressive. Kill them before they kill us. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much what they're currently trying to do here. And they are starting to try and move in for that. Once again, the move up to the top here, jumping into the back line, trying to go for Marke first of all. Marke gets tethered back in. And they're trying to go for the quick kill. And are they going to get it? Oh, there it is. Greymane is dead. And renaming himself into Bymane in this game, because so far he's only saying and kissing his life goodbye. But again, the quick attack towards the wall, it's trade value that they're looking for. Wind and Rain is currently trying to go in, trying to get even more damage, trying to drop even more structures, but it also means that Jaina might go down. Nicely done. The dodge against the jump as it comes through. The top fort in the meantime has been eliminated. There's our little slow, but there's also a stun coming in. ZERATUL, by the way, doesn't really care about what's happening here. He's getting the bot lane value, and they're escorting one wave after another one in right away. Camp has been stolen in the meantime, so there is also no Shaman camp that can be claimed anymore by Wind and Rain. They took it away. And they're playing the more slow approach. Like, what you're really seeing from Wind and Rain is more so guerrilla tactics. Trying to collapse onto lane, try and get a kill. Split and attack multiple lanes. Not go for the objective, attack structures instead. Drop a tower in the middle, draw attention at the top. This is pretty much what they are trying to do. And it's a bit of a ghetto style, but honestly, against a team that is not as coordinated as Nothing Left right now, that shit works. It honestly works. Like, you can get insane value. You make one wrong decision as the team opposing that strategy, and all of a sudden you're fort down, you're keep down, and you're starting to fall farther and farther behind, especially if you're continuously trying to play catch up. But Nothing Left, they know what they're doing, and they're so far reacting well to it, which leads to an entire level lead for them. 4 kills against 1. And obviously, that strategy has a bit of a limitation to it. Simply because in the later stages of the game, those death timers are going to be so long that you are in trouble. But don't underestimate this, because if you do, then at some point they just unfold the entire force of that lineup on a single kill, and then you fall farther behind. So it's definitely not easy to play against that if executed well. And Wind and Rain does a decent job there. But as the level 10 abilities, now we're having Ring of Frost and the ZERATUL Void Prison combo up. And that obviously adds a completely different element to this setup. Like a completely different one. You're not only talking about just red Dota on the map and just trying to take the structures down and go from lane to lane, but instead you're also talking about a wombo combo in the team fight that can absolutely drop you within seconds. So there is a lot of this. And just look at it again. Anubarak spawns the beetles and they're starting to attack. Blikidne is sitting there. Throw that out. Drops the cage on 3. Keeps himself alive long enough. Walled of the Wardens. Can he drop the fountain? Yep, but there's the kill against him. Holds them for long enough, but not long enough for it to really matter here. ALEXSTRAZZA already came through. Here's the attack. Jimmy is at the bottom against Jaina. And we're still seeing TYRANDE attacked for a moment by ZERATUL as we're having the red team walk away with a kill and able to drop the fort by 50% HP. Easy peasy. Big win. I mean, again, structures. Look at the structures here. Yes, the top fort was taken out. That was important. That was through the objective. But every other lane, you have to keep in mind, Wind and Rain has so far not taken an objective. And every lane is damaged. Every single one. No fountain in the middle. No fountain at the top. Top fort down to 50% HP. Camps are taken again. And still the lead in experience. It's all about the late game kills at this point. But yeah, they're starting to jump in again for the shrine. Obviously, these scale as well, so you have to be a bit careful around them too. But the Void Prison and Ring of Frost setup is still there. At level 13, that's the reward that Nothing Left gets for all the diligent work that they have done against these setups. So they have an extra talent. Again, ZERATUL trying to attack here. They're jumping back into the line here. ALEXSTRAZZA, Dragon Queen, so far not being used. And so, oh, actually, interrupt there. Podipos, nicely done. Ring of Frost setup doesn't do anything. Sanctification, pitch perfect. That's exactly what they needed. And now they're pushing MXD back. Skok is already low, and they're taking full advantage of the situation as Nothing Left starts to move for those minions. They get the massive stack lead, and that is looking like it's going to be another Punisher for them right here. Looking absolutely brilliant once again. And the immediate reaction from Wind and Rain, they're going bot lane with Greymane. They're saying like, alright, let's try and escort the wave through. Let's try and go for the structures here. In the meantime, push through the middle. Make sure that you get as much as you possibly can. And now that it's starting to scale into the late game, now we're talking damage output. Now we're talking all of a sudden second keep falling and maybe even, oh sorry, second fort falling and maybe the keep itself being attacked here. Bot lane, on the other hand, value against the structure and also some experience lost. But here in the mid lane, that's where the action happens. And we're currently at 13 versus 13 right now. And they're starting to move in. They're going deep. In comes the cocoon, already used here by Anubarak. That's gonna burn it down in a moment. And yeah, the immediate blow-up attempt, and they're trying to get Mopsio, but they can't. He's still alive. The cage is down. Oh, the damage, the value, the kills. The double, triple kill as we have Anubarak, Greymane, and Jaina fall. And now they're gonna go for the keep here. They actually are going to get it at this point. What a sick setup once again. Nicely done by them. Down they go. And with that, we have now 15 against 13, 7 against 2, and 10 minutes in, we're looking at the 2-level lead and a fantastic advantage for Nothing Left in this third game of the best of 5 series. They're closing in to level 16, of course, as well. Mopsio able to leapfrog his way out of that fight after he got locked down by the cocoon was incredible. It was important there for them to save him. I mean, the explosion could have helped a bit, but yeah, he stays alive, provides the shield, and they make the turn. Now it's about 16 for them, but they are looking at a great spot. They are way ahead in structures, despite the fact that Wind and Rain is threatening, of course, to take those continuously, and they're about to get another one here at the bottom of the map. Now, Anubarak is already rotating topside, but their strategy is starting to lose a little bit of its value. These guys shouldn't even go top. Just go bot lane. Just come here. At this point, what's going to happen? Yes, there's a Greymane, but that push cannot out-push them. It's too late already. And this is something that they're now realizing too, because Nothing Left is just saying, you honestly think we're giving it them? If you don't come down, we're going to take your second keep, and there is absolutely zero you can do about that. The wall is already open, and you give us another opportunity, and we drop that thing. We have a Hyperion, and we have also a Sanctification, which pretty much means if they ever make their way towards the core, there's a realistic chance they can drop the core too, pretty quickly. I mean, not simply backdooring it and going in, they have to do a little bit before, maybe get a kill or two. But yeah, opening lanes up like this is going to be important. Now this still has to be taken care of, and that's currently what Maiev is going to try and do here. In the meantime, Podibos is currently sniffing all of that out, knows that they are positioning themselves here. Obviously the top fort has fallen too. From Wind and Rain's perspective, what their goal is to go to level 16 with all of that. Podibos jumps out again. There's no real threat against him right now. And the Owl's still on the map here. But they're trying to make the play. MXD with a good triple stun, an important triple stun. And Maiev goes in for a little bit of damage, but they're not overdoing it just yet. 16-17. They're going for the camps again, but obviously Wind and Rain, they will have level 16 talents for the next fight too. And yeah, up to the top lane, we're having the Shrine active. And that is where both of them are going to meet. There's not a single fort left yet. 17 against 15, but not for much longer. Damage output. Let's have another quick damage at that. And yeah, there we have it. 22,000 hero damage, 97,000 siege damage on Maiev. All in all, great performance there. Damage in general, I mean, we don't really have as much of a damage output as I would have expected, despite the fact that we have 9 kills on the board. Most of them were pretty decisive and clean ones. A lot of back and forth happening with a lot of this. But yeah. They're starting to play around the rotation routes here. The vision of TYRANDE becomes super important at this point, so that nobody falls into a trap. You have to double check these bushes, of course, too. Yeah, that's exactly what Blakidney does right now. Podibos is already at the top, but this is going to be one of the most important fights of the entire game. 16 versus 16, and there's the play against Podibos. Uses the old Ring of Frost. That didn't do anything for them, but the kill against Podibos is still coming through, and Blakidney might be the second to fall, and that's the case. Double kill for them. Thanks to the setup, we are having 2 kills for Wind and Rain, and they at least get Mucket. So it's at least a 2-for-1 trade, but they are not done with this just yet. Mopsio is jumping in and out and is looking for some value, has a sanctification and uses it, but there are only 3 at this point. They're trying to get something out of this, but it's looking dicey, and it's looking like all of them are going to fall there eventually. They go long for the kill against Link. Zadoon is already falling. Link is down too. The only survivor is Mopsio, as TYRAEL is again abandoning everybody. Typical Archangel right there. Runs away from the fight, the only survivor, and is instead trying to threaten mid lane a little bit. But Jaina is already on her way back so that the catapults can't be escorted in. TYRAEL at the bot lane trying to look for some XP, but obviously they have to defend there. I mean, right now 8 kills against 6, and that's Wind and Rain's ticket back into this. Bot lane pressure against the keep up at the top. We have actually Jaina sitting there dealing with the catapults. The problem is that Greymane might now be back, but that keep is taking massive damage. It's actually taking a lot, but Marcus wave clears, of course, super solid right now. So getting a little bit more damage in. Mopsio is moving away, but the keep isn't down yet. ZERATUL has taken a camp. Maiev is back. 5 seconds, 6 seconds for Jimmy and TYRANDE to be back, so they can start baiting over. TYRAEL moving back too. Greymane isn't at the top lane yet. It's a bit of a saving grace at this point. Good bait, good vault, making sure that they can bait that over, but the wall is already broken through. Defense is there. Likely going to be the first keep for Wind and Rain in this game. But the situation is still a very spicy one. To be honest, they might be able to save this. TYRAEL is going to have the sanctification back in 10 seconds, so that could be it. There's the cage already. Alright, they're trying to make the play there. Cocoon is on the ground against TYRAEL. The Immortal, or the Punisher, is still ready, but they're going for the fight. They don't have 20 yet. Ring of Frost, again, not with too much value. TYRAEL, the Sank gets interrupted, and the death of ZERATUL and TYRAEL. They try to go for a Nuborak, and so far the beetle is down. Oh, the shield! Oh, and in the meantime, the core is actually losing shield, but the keep is still in play. So when all is said and done and the dust settles, we have level 20 on the side of nothing left. We have the core falling, in terms of shields at least a little bit. The keeps are still there, and the position for nothing left is still fantastic. It's great. It's really, really strong there. Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate for TYRAEL in particular. I mean, he tried to go for the sanctification, but the interrupt that came through was just a bit too strong. So, at this point, we're having the level 20s taken, and that actually gives us, for Jimmy, the weak spot acquired. They really want to try and go for these kills here. Also puts, of course, more pressure on individual heroes, like, let's say, for example, Greymane, if you want to drop him. Level 20, that's the time when you want to force a fight, and I guess that fight is going to happen around the bottom keep. Pressure that out, force the battle, have the 20, and try and get that. Or rotate top and try and force a fight there. damage output. Give you guys a bit of an idea. 27,000 currently on Jaina. And Maiev, 38k. Not too bad. The defense down here at the bottom. I mean, right now, it's a little bit weird. Nothing Left is not forcing a battle. They're allowing Wind of Rain to get level 20. I could have seen them with an attempt to drop the keep at the bot lane, at least. Force a level 20 fight. They don't do that, which for now means that they have to face their opponent in a fight with level 20 versus level 20. So, not really the best situation here at the end of the day. The objective, on the other hand, spawns mid-side, so that's why they at least still have a keep and fort, so they can still retreat even though the fountain has been obliterated. Interestingly enough, this is one thing that we definitely have to highlight because it is impacting the game a lot. We do not have the baseline completed for Jaina. That's actually super important. So baseline isn't completed, that means there's no ice block. And now they're moving towards the bottom of the map to go for the keep regardless, and they're going to get it too. There's the rotation in. Keep is going to fall, but now they're taking it with a 20 versus 25. Void Prison, okay, against one. That's not going to be enough, and they burn down the cocoon. This is not good for Wind and Rain. They just lost 2 cooldowns. One of them is low, but the other one, that's a problem. And they can turn now. They can try and turn at this point. And they're going to try and do exactly that. The cage against Alex, they're going in, the Sanctification's on the ground, and Khaldor is dead. So is ZERATUL. They have 2 kills, and they're looking for more. Jaina with the ice block, but yep, that is not going to help you in the long run. They're chasing them one after another. Their drag against Marke, Jaina down. And even with a kill against Reyna, it doesn't matter anymore. Down goes the Wolf. MXD on his Beetle survives, but obviously the core is wide open. 4 heroes are dead, and that just has to be game. Even the Beetle falls as TYRANDE gets the kill. Nothing Left with 14 kills against 0 is going for the core. They're going to drop that beast quickly, and that is the lead in the best of 5 series for Nothing Left. The blue team taking the advantage on Infernal Shrines and claiming the lead with a 2-1, the victory on Infernal Shrines in Division S. Game number 4, ladies and gentlemen. Sky Temple is the map, and we have Nothing Left going up against Wind and Rain. So with that, we have an actually pretty awesome series in our hands. A lot of back and forth games the entire times. Wind and Rain is just fighting. They're aggressive. They're trying to do whatever they can here to get the wins out. With strategies that are a little bit out of the box as well. Trying to go more for a Red Heroes style by trying to take the structures down, trying to fight side lane value, then going for quick kills, a bit of wombo combo sprinkled into it too. Didn't quite work out for them, but it was a cool setup, and it nearly worked actually. So now we have Nothing Left on Sky Temple with the second pick, which means that they actually chose the map, so it's their map choice. Wind and Rain decided in favor of first pick, first ban. They lost the last map, so the loser always has the choice between the two. And they decided in favor of first pick, first ban, and they drop Raxa again, which we have seen now quite a bit. Nothing Left with the Maiev taken out, since their opponent has first pick this time. They don't want to risk anything there. Yeah, this is of course another map where you can see a lot of the Haka value. Again, the global comes into play. I wonder honestly if we're going to see something crazy around Samuro and maybe Abathar again. If no, yeah, well, okay. So much for that. Abathar gets banned out after we've seen the ban against ZERATUL there. But yeah, the Abba and Samuro combo is pretty nasty on this map, and it's honestly quite annoying. So after Nothing Left already encountered a rotational style from Wind and Rain on the last map, they were probably a little bit reluctant to give them an opening into that in any way. There's the Haka, though, for the first pick even. Again, utilizing that global. Could play ETC on the off lane with Echo Paddler on level 7 if you're going to stage dive. That's definitely a thought that's at least worth expressing there. Li Ming. Does it though, Li Ming? Does it? Does the realm really need you? And the Beetle makes it through. Okay, this time for Nothing Left. And whew, baby, Malfurion and Tracer. I've seen that before. I've seen that, like, what? Could have expected that they are sick and tired of Marcus Tracer, but apparently not. Alright. Bans. Are they gonna ban TYRAEL out here? Keep in mind, with the Anubarak and Liming pick, actually. Alright, Tassadar makes sense. But the Anubarak and Liming setup also means you can't counter pick Liming against Anubarak now. It's actually super important here. Because the Cocoon, well, it was kind of super important before Tracer get picked, though, I assume. Cocoon can be burnt down by Tracer pretty quickly. So yeah, catching myself in the middle of my thought was like, oh wait a second, they picked something else that's pretty good against that, so yeah. Alright, so now that Mark is in play with Tracer, what else do we get in terms of damage? I mean, first of all, we're getting nothing left. Kharazim and ETC. Alright, ETC, as I said, side lane. You have to mirror Dehaka's movement somehow, and ETC is pretty good at that, simply because he can use the stage dive on level 10. Obviously it takes him a bit longer until he can move or rotate with Dehaka. We'll have to pick Echo Paddle on level 7 as well. And yeah, how is Wind and Rain rotating that now out? They still need, okay, Thrall and Diablo. Alright. Pretty heavy front line. Thrall can of course get the poke. Tracer gonna be the main damage dealer here for them. But a lot of CC they can definitely use to allow Tracer to get those kills and set them up for her. And now the last pick, we need a little more damage. Jimmy is still out if you want to take him. With the setup, I mean, even Greymane. You have a Kharazim and Anubarak, ETC, a lot of slides, a lot of stuns, a lot of aggression, a lot of moves straight in. We have another melee as well. And we'll find out in a moment. Game number 4. Nothing left against Wind and Rain. Sky Temple. Polyboss on Greymane. Mopsio on ETC. That is actually interesting. Okay, Mopsio gonna go for more for a side lane approach here, I would still assume. Li Ming, played by Blikidney, Zedun and Anubarak, and linked on Kharazim. And over to the right side of the map, Wind and Rain with another aggressive attempt here with Mark on Tracer. Galnagulna on Malfurion, MXT on Diablo, Skog on Dehaka, and Halagut on Thrall. Yeah, trying to tie this series once again and force the last and final map, forcing game number 5. That's the game plan here right now. Question, of course, is can they make that happen? I mean, the 5-man battle actually at this point over the vision point, and the immediate aggression against Diablo, who's flanking that at the top. Mako obviously just darting around in an attempt to make a play. Ooh, and Dibbles is dead. Quick kill against him. Alright. The slight lead in experience that you get thanks to that. Not much more than that, honestly. Well, maybe a little bit more map control at the beginning of the game. Oh, that's kind of it. With that now, we're having the move to the bot lane since Dehaka has already burrowed down. So, yeah. This is where Dehaka usually has his place in the beginning of the game, because you have the shrines activating or the temples activating mid and top. So Dehaka tries to stay at the bot lane for as long as he can before he burrows in. It's honestly one of the things that when you're going into the very low leagues of Heroes of the Storm, that's always the most surprising. A lot of players don't really know how to use their globals, especially on a hero like Dehaka, and will more or less mindlessly move across the map utilizing their global cooldown for pretty much no value whatsoever. But if you are trying to have a lot of an impact with Dehaka, you will normally make sure that you have the cooldown ready whenever the objective spawns and that you are far away from the objective as possible. Get a bit more experience, but then burrow in straight for the fight itself when you need it and when it pops out. And your team is obviously going to attempt and slow that down. Talking about slowing something down, they're trying to go for the camp here, and that's Diablo down. That's also nearly a kill against Dehaka, but still he falls a second later. The resets that are coming through are great, and with that double kill with a 2-for-1 trade, they're trying to make it a triple, and Galnagulna is down, so they get everything here that they wanted. They get the kills, they get the cam, the momentum on the map, the early level 4, the lead in experience. They can move through the bot lane, and they can now also start to try and drop these structures. Nicely done. Well played. There is at least something taken at the bot lane, and Skog is starting to burrow in again and use the global there. But obviously we're now having the first tower down. They're going for the wall too. And nothing is more important on Sky Temple than dropping those structures without even using the objective. It is going to give you the lead in the long run, and you're going to find yourself in a fantastic position once you can take those temples. Really well done by them here. They get the kills. They also have now, of course, a couple of stacks together on the baselines or on the level 1s with the Prog Rock and also the Regeneration Master. But yeah, nicely done by them. Siege Giants are taken on the other side as well. It's a nice attempt to wait for a potential rotation and then interrupt it. That rotation doesn't come into play. At least not yet. Kidney has to be careful now on his Li Ming, but top side we're having a big push happening with the Bruiser Camp that was taken there too. And obviously the objective is now spawning as well. And that is going to be incredibly important right now. The first one at the top is already taken. Dibbles and Trace are making their way towards the top lane. Not even thinking about just simply going for one-for-one trade. They're making the play here. And Boss is kind of low on Greymane, but able to get away. And in the meantime, we're seeing Anuburak getting the shots in the middle. So they're getting more and more and more. They're even able to break through more structures on the wall here, thanks to that camp, of course, now too. ETC got a few more shots up at the top lane, and they're trying to get the rest in the bottom of the map done. Down here, we're still having Kidney dancing around Dehaka a little bit. And there's the level 7 now. And with level 7, they obviously have now another advantage when it comes to the little power spike that they're calling their own here. Towards the top side, there's still a fair amount of shots left on the temple, so that could be another rotation that we're seeing from nothing left. They already soaked the final shots here in the middle, and that brought that fort down pretty much to 50% HP. Structural position at this point, solid. Very solid. Mopsio saying, okay, I got this. He's going to take the final shots here top, which is going to also very likely now drop at least that fountain. Yep, fountain is down. Link is trying to dash away here from Make, as obviously Tracer is attempting to close the distance. But yeah, honestly fantastic position for nothing left. It doesn't really show as much yet because those forts haven't fallen yet, but you can't, I mean, you can't really get a whole lot more than they have so far in this game. 4 kills against 1, half level ahead, dropping pretty much every single wall, having those forts themselves already attacked too. That's pretty big. That's honestly big at this point. So they obviously need to play this even a little bit more aggressive and get more from that. That's not all. You can't stop here. But this is a great setup for the rest of the game, and you can't ask for more of that. Mopsio is just sitting there, is already spotting what's happening with Galnagunar, but they're starting to move in. And that's a dead mouth. Yep. Him going in there, that's him dying. Skork can get the drag in, but obviously Kerosene is just going to dart away from this, especially with the Wolf missing from Thrall. They get a bit of extra damage onto that fort too. As long as they can escape here, that's going to be easy. And well, they're not even looking for the escape. Nope, they're going to look for the kills. And Dehaka might be the first victim in that fight if it continues. MXD at this point is trying to make the play here. Thrall is obviously still ready, but it's still a 5 versus 4. And there's the slide and the kill against Tracer. The reset, the stun, the second, another reset, and it's a disaster. They go now for the camp itself too. They're trying to steal the Bruiser camp away. More than a level lead already on the side of nothing left as they go for the Bruiser camp. And as they're making the play for the fort, which has fallen, the level 10 is going to be in their hands. Bot lane Temple is activating in the moment. And they're just sitting there like, bot lane Temple, or are we going to try and push the top lane with level 10? And they're making the decision to move through the middle, straight back down to the bottom. EDC obviously still around since he went into stage dive, as we already talked about earlier. The one surprise maybe is that he didn't go into Echo Paddle. So he's not really too worried about his wave clear here, but instead still went into his traditional level 7 to create a bit more space around this. We're having them also with still Greymane waiting for his 10. But you look at this and Wind and Rain can't even fight. I mean, seriously, how would you at this point engage into that battle when you know your opponent already has level 10? You can't really do anything there. You can't engage into this unless you are able to gank on someone with a 4 versus or 3 versus 1 setup. That's a different story. But now you have the objective, you have also the minions that are already doing work here. That's going to be the, well, the fort at the bot lane. And there's still enough shots to also drop the fort in the middle, and we all know what that means. First of all, the map opens up. You lose your retreat point, you lose the fountains, you lose the safety that those forts provide you with. And it's passive experience in the hands of your opponent. The passive experience increases. So things are just getting worse and worse and worse here for Wind and Rain. What they need, now that they have level 10, they need a teamfight win. And a big one at that. This is a map where you oftentimes throw a bit of a Hail Mary move when you're starting to go for the boss and you try to force a fight there. When you're just saying, okay, listen guys, it's the only thing that we can do. We need to force a battle. We need to roll the dice. If we win it, we're in a good spot. If we lose it, then, well, we're already behind, so why the hell not? And that is oftentimes what you see on Sky Temple. That one team is either engaging or starting a fight around the boss because they have an advantage and they want to force the opponent to fight against the advantage, or a team that is behind realizes that they're going to be further behind if they don't go for the Hail Mary play, and they're just saying, we know you're ahead, but it's the only fight we're going to get, and we might as well try. It's our only ticket back into the game if you screw up there. So that's something that we might see. And when it comes to value on this point, I mean, we have quite a bit. You have an Earthquake, you have also Lightning Breath, and you have a Twilight Dream. For a close quarter fight on this isn't too shabby. Obviously, there's Kerosene with the 7-sided Cocoon, but still, that's a good engage. Nabli Kidney. Ooh, goes down. Marcus survives, but it's not quite sure if ETC is not going to get another kill in there, as Diablo is already down. The ETC engage is definitely working out for them. Galnagulna being attacked here. Yeah, there's the bomb, though. Oh, Zadoon gets the shield, moves out, linked with a dash, and he actually survives this. They're turning it again, or trying to. Mucke the entire time was incredibly low. But now we're actually seeing 13 against 11, 8 kills against 2. And at the top lane, more and more damage. That setup is brutal. Dehaka actually dies as Diablo is back to defend the top lane. But another Fountain falls, more damage, less shots needed, and they're actually making the commitment towards the boss already. And why wouldn't they? They just killed Dehaka, and of course he can burrow in, but they have Greymane, they have everything that they need here. They see Thrall top side, he can't make the rotation quick enough, and Marke is there and sees it with Tracer, but what are they going to do? Actually fight into this without Thrall? Well, good luck with that. There's the stun against Marke, and he nearly drops. Well, for a moment, Podibos is thinking about it. And they actually get the kill. Oh, the tornado! And then Greymane and Marke is dead. And now they have the boss through the bot lane. They have a Nuborak on his way towards the temple. And guys, this is just insane. Wind and Rain is falling farther and farther behind in game number 4. And this is their last chance. If they lose here, then their series is over. The best of 5 would end in favor of their opponent. There come the stuns against Diablo. The wall is falling. And that's the end of Dibbles as well. That's the end of Thrall. Oh my god, what a brutal setup. Top keep is going to fall because of ETC as he gets the shots in at the bot lane. Another keep goes down. Maka with another 100 hit points barely gets out. If they can get the kill against Polyforce, that would be something. He at least falls. That might save them for now, but it's the end of Malfurion too. There goes Diablo, there goes Tracer, and there go the hopes of Wind and Rain to make it back into this series. That's going to be the 3-1 victory in the best of 5 for nothing left as they drop Wind and Rain. Or do they? They try. The death timers are low, but they still might get the kills there, you know. Li Ming is low, and that's actually the kill against Kerosene. They're not dropping them just yet. They were close, but 10 minutes into the game, the death timers are a little bit too short, and I kind of overestimated the value of that boss a little bit. But yeah, there's not a 3-for-1 just yet, but 83% on the core. It was obviously quite a statement here. Then again, that hasn't been taken. ETC stage diving in, saved the keep. So yeah, here comes Greymane, trying to remedy that. Very likely to make that work, and that should be keep number 2 taken down. Or not. Pody on the run. ETC in the bot lane. Here comes the Dune. And yep, in comes the stage dive, and all of a sudden Malfurion is dead Furion, and Tracer is dead too. Alright, it might not have happened in the last approach when they went for the core, but things are not looking better a minute later either. Down go 4, and that's gonna be a 5-man team wipe as they drop it and now move straight in to finish what they started. 20 kills against 4 right now. Alright, so it took them a little bit longer than expected here after the last big battle, but now they go for the keep, and this time they're going to try and make sure that the core actually falls. Obviously the death timers are still fairly low, but this is more than enough for them to complete what has been started in the early attempt. 55%, and this is going to be it. 3-1 victory for nothing left as they take the series. They win Sky Temple, they win the best of 5, and claim victory against Wind and Rain. GG, well played.